Hi, I'm Jim and this is Jim's Fix-It Shop, and I don't have my normal attire on because we got another review, and this is from Badger. It is a 3-piece, or actually this is a 4-piece. It shows a weed whacker, a chainsaw, and like a hedge trimmer. I don't know if I can stand this thing up or not. Got it semi-open. It's not light. Okay, you can see it's got like a hedge trimmer, a power head, weed whacker, chainsaw, and I believe it also has an edger to go down your driveway with. So let's open this thing up. Relatively inexpensive to order one of these from Amazon. So as far as trying to give this thing away, the shipping would cost more than you could order it brand new from Amazon with free shipping. We'll figure out how to get the box open again. There's all kinds of stuff in here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to, maybe if I raise this up as high as it'll go and then tip the camera down, maybe you can see this. We got a bag of goodies. Cardboard. I'm going to need my knife. This is the shaft for the hedge trimmer. Now they wanted me to try this out and see what I think of it. I have this whole set and then a lot of other stuff, only it's a steel brand. So we'll see how this compares to my steel. I'll get this in here. I guess it doesn't matter how it goes in. That's what I thought. That goes in that end. This has got to go in this end. Well, on my steel unit, you have to slide it all the way in up to this line. Well, this ain't going to go in there that far. Sorry to say. Doesn't go in very far at all. Should go in at least that far, and it doesn't want to. Let me back that screw out. Guess that's as far as it goes in. Would have been nice if they would have put the sticker in the right place. Let's dump this stuff out because there apparently should be a Allen wrench in here somewhere. Here's the edger, I believe. I don't know, never had one of them. Handle, which I took off of mine anyway. A harness so you don't have to hold the thing up. Guard for the weed whacker. and some tools. Now, how long it's going to take to put this whole thing together. Maybe we'll look at some directions. I think this is basically just telling you how to use the thing. Not much on assembly. Oh, here's a little bit. Okay. That ain't that one. Trying to see where this screw goes. Put the little guard back on there. Well, there's one down. Let's see what else we got in here. Here's the power head. Oh. It's got some weight to it. All cast aluminum engine. Gas tank is plastic, of course. Got a little bit of compression to it. That would be the filter for the gas clunking around in there. Obviously, this is the chainsaw. Cute little bar. It does have a sprocket on the nose to help it rotate, I guess, a little better. Now this is something my steel does not do. You can pull out on this lever and you can rotate the chainsaw to cut on different angles. My steel does not do that. It stays straight. And it has an oil reservoir, just like my steel does. Is the adjuster for the chain tension. Oh, it's in the front. I'll run that back a little bit. Screwdriver doesn't like to stay in the... Well, I thought this would work. We used to make these years ago at work for Briggs & Stratton. And it's just a basic flathead screwdriver with tubes on it to use this to adjust the carburetors with so that the screwdriver wouldn't vibrate off when the carburetor was wiggling around with the engine running. But this one's too big and that one's too small, so I can't use that. They've got a directional arrow on here and which way this thing's supposed to spin. So you can get the chain on right, I guess. This thing still isn't backed off far enough. You need a whole lot more travel in this screw. Let's see if that's back far enough. Nice sharp chain. There we go, finally. It's in there. Okay, that's a little odd. Let me see what this says. The only first problem I see with it right now is this screwdriver. Got this big head on here. Where you get it on the screw, you can't turn it because it hits. That's kind of odd they do that. Now the only thing and it doesn't say anything in this book, I guess I'm going to have to read it over a little better. Got the chain on, and it doesn't say what this hole is for. You can stick your finger right in there where the chain is. I don't know what that's for. I guess that's to help eject the chips coming out by the looks of the inside, but I would think, well, they do have a slot in the bottom for chips to come out of. Must be it got jammed up in there, so they added this little ejection hole here. I guess we'll find out when we start using it. And the last thing we got to put together is the weed whacker. Personally, I do not like weed whackers. Whenever I use I got one with my steel unit, because if you bought the unit and 2 attachments, you got that free. Well, I don't like them because they throw crap all over you. What I trim mine with is I got one of these, only it's 12 inches long. And it works much better for trimming than these things do. So let's see if we can figure out how to put this thing together. And it doesn't show, it does not say this is for an edger. It shows an edger in here, but this isn't it. So apparently this is for cutting heavy weeds or brush. I don't know. Oh, we got a cover for the chain. That's kind of nice. Now, if we can get this apart, we need a pin. Must be left-hand threads on here. The head comes pre-wound with line. I don't think that goes on there with the head. That's got to be for this blade, which I suppose we'll put that on and see what that does. This should go on this side. Nope, I guess it goes like that. Here's my other wrench. Yeah, we'll take this over to mother-in-law's and try it out, because she's got, I don't know, probably 150 feet of hedges I have to trim. So we'll try that out and see how that works. See if I get tired holding this thing up in the air to trim them hedges. Let's see. Let's see how this blade goes on here. Maybe I'll use that to trim her hedges with. All right. I have no idea. I'm assuming. Doesn't show. Oh, here we go. Yes, this protects the nut, I guess. You just drop the nut inside of there. It shows a couple of washers, but they must be talking about this. Well, that's not too bad to put on. I guess we'll start out with the weed whacker. See how that works. Okay, let's go put some gas in this thing and see what it does. You got some kind of little, looks like a piece of cardboard that protects the gas tank from the muffler. Let's hope that's not asbestos. So let's take this whole thing outside and see how it fires up for the first time. All right, we got some gas. Let's fill this thing up and see what it does. And I will definitely let you know my pet peeve with two-cycle equipment is if it leaks gas or oil when it's sitting. I used to have a Poland chainsaw. It was a Craftsman made by Poland. Now my brother pronounces it Puma. So who's right, me or my brother? Let me know in the comments. So let's fill this up. It's 50-to-1 mix. I'll probably make a mess with these new stupid gas cans we have today. Well, not too bad. The cap is a little hard to get started. I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but both sides of this has a flat spot on it. So now you gotta try to get the threads lined up just right. There we go. Okay, start. That must be choke. There is no throttle. Mine has a throttle on it. This thing just runs wide open. I guess, oh, nope, sorry, I lied. It's down here. It's on run. I'll pump some fuel up in it. Looks pretty dry. There we go, it's going back in the tank. Didn't take too long to get started. I got some oil out. Let me go in and get the chainsaw and we'll throw that on and see what it does. I'll be right back. Okay, I got all my junk out here. The chainsaw. Let's put some oil in this and see if this thing leaks. I guess it's not gonna stand up for me. Now, if you don't have one of these covers for your oil, go down to your hardware store and buy one. You take the cap off, you put this on, and it saves a lot of mess. Now, both of these, which is kind of nice. I can't believe mine don't do that. It has a standard zert fitting on it. My steel has a special bolt that screws in there, I should say plug, and you buy a tube of grease. It's about the size of a toothpaste tube. It has a special end on it that screws right into that, and you squeeze it and it forces it in. But that tube, the size of a toothpaste tube, is $7.95 the last time I bought one. This one you can use standard grease. Get my grease gun on here. I don't know how you tell when it's full. Probably gonna make a mess. Thinking that should do it. I gotta get a rag. Always keep a roll of these in my truck. Wipe this extra grease off that oozed out. Well, that one's ready to go. Now, the weed whacker is the same way, I would think. Nope, that has a screw on the side. I'm going to have to look to see what that's for. This has a standard grease fitting on it. Now mine, if you don't keep that full of grease, that thing gets hot. And I mean really hot. Yep. I just don't know how you know when it's full. Oh, it has two grease fittings on it. I get this on there. Well, that ought to do it. I'm hoping. Now, I found out these arrows are not on there for the depth of how far it goes in the head, like my steel is. This arrow has to line up with this casted arrow, I guess, so it goes in there properly. Well, it looks like it goes 90 degrees this way and 90 degrees that way. I would have to look. I'm not sure mine goes both ways or not. I think it does. Well, I know it goes farther than this because when I store it, I can hinge this right on around even with the shaft. So it makes it shorter to store. I wish this one did that. That's one thing I could tell them to improve on that, is because there's no reason that won't go all the way around. And you could make it go all the way around. If you look at this screw holding the handle on, they've got it going all the way through. You can see it sticking up there. They're using that as a stop. And nothing gets in the way of this screw. Should we switch them around? Let's see what happens. They can't fire me. Dum da dum 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 dum. Maybe they just put the screw in the wrong place. I don't know. Hey, if you're like me, you don't have enough room to store stuff. So you want to make it as compact as possible. Let's see what happens. Now that's got a definite stop built into the casting for 90 degrees that way. Look at that. It locks in. Actually, it looks like the way that locks in there, it looks like it's actually made to do that. I got a phone call, sorry. Wife just hollered, it's time to eat. But the way that mates in there, I mean, it's got a large dog there that locks into that. Hey, I don't see anything wrong with that. And look how much shorter it makes this thing. So we're going to load all this up. I guess we'll put the handle on next door. And we'll go see what kind of damage we can do. I mean, it's not like I really would like to kill all them shrubs. I hate shrubs. So, we'll be back after lunch. Hang on. Okay, now we're over at the mother-in-law's and we're going to try this thing out. I guess the first thing we got to do, put the handle on it. I never got that far the other day. I hope you can hear me. This goes on pretty simply. It's got 4 screws in it. Pops apart. has a rubber, like a piece of hose, and it's split. We gotta snap that around the shaft. And screw it all together. Guess we gotta put it on this way. The screws are plenty long, I'll say that. Not a good day to do this. Now, before I mentioned on the booklet here, it says that this is okay. Wife needed a little help moving bird bath. Now, this box that it came in said on the box 4-in-1, and I got the power head. Show you the pictures here. We got the pole saw and we got the hedge trimmer, but we didn't get the edger attachment. So I'm thinking the fourth item in this 4-in-1 set is this blade that goes on to the end of the weed whacker attachment, and this is made for cutting heavier bushes or whatever that your weed whacker won't cut. We all know about what they're going to handle, and basic grass is about it. Pick this book up here. Now, this thing also comes with a harness, which is, I did try it on. Grief, I need a table out here and I don't have one. And it goes over both shoulders and around your back. And it has this nice pad on it that goes between you and the item that you're using at the time. I don't really like to be tied to something. I'd rather have it just loose so I can move it around any way I want it. First thing we're going to put on here is this weed whacker. Now, these are all quick, interchangeable. It has a little push pin that you push in, and it snaps into a hole in 3 locations, I guess. And you tighten down this handle. Now we'll get this thing started. and see how the line feeds out. A lot of them have issues doing that. And we'll weed whack a little bit here, and then we're going to put that disc on and go out in the woods and find something a little bit heavier than grass to cut with it. I doubt you're going to be able to hear me, and you'll probably better take out your earbuds if you're listening with those. I'll turn the microphone around, pointing the other way. It has two different set of directions on here. It shows the choke closed and open. Over here it says start and run. I guess whatever you're used to. And there's a primer bulb down here hiding. It says to pump it 7 times. Choked it. Feed it out nice. It all depends how you wrap the string. I found out I was wrapping the string on my steel the wrong way. Now, to get these things unscrewed, I use the Allen wrench. There's a hole right here. You stick the Allen wrench in that hole, and this is left hand thread. You turn it right to get it off. Now it tells you to take this first washer off, then put the disc on. It has an arrow on there which way you want to put it on there. Then this goes back on. Oh, that's kind of nice. And I got to get the nut and a wrench. Now this comes with a little cup. The only thing I can figure this is for is to protect the nut from getting all banged up so you can't get it loose when you want to take this thing off. So we'll put the little cup on here. And start the nut. Now this is a self-locking nut. So you got to put your Allen wrench back in here and use the little wrench they supplied. And it has a little protective cover over it. Not really sure how that comes off. Well, that was interesting. Rope here. I even got it on right. We're going to go out in the woods and find us something a little bit bigger around than grass to cut with this thing. Okay, we're out here in the back 40, and I've got some brush more or less down here that's probably about 1/4 of an inch in diameter, and we're going to see what this thing will do to it. So turn your volume down. Well, that wasn't bad, because this is actually a little bit bigger than 1/4 inch. It looks like more 5/16 to 3/8 diameter. Not bad. Well, we're going to go up and get the chainsaw attachment to put on here, and we'll see how that works for trimming leaves. I'm looking up at leaves. Trimming some limbs. Be right back. Okay, that didn't work too bad. Now we're going to change this. Wait, loosen up this clamp knob, and you have to push in on this button and pull at the same time. That pops out, and then we will pop the chainsaw in. Well, that little button went right in by itself. I didn't have to push it. Okay, we'll lock that down. Take our guard off. Let's go over and see how this thing handles this limb. Now, like I said, my steel combi system has a pole saw just like this, but mine does not turn. I suppose if you're reaching up to cut a limb, this would be an easier way to do it than to have it tipped this way. But can't have everything, I guess. So let's knock this limb off. It seemed to be a little underpowered for the chainsaw. I can't remember what cc this is. I'll look when I get back up there with the book, but the chain does not seem to be overly tight. That's what I thought at first, but it seems to have plenty of movement. Turns free enough. I think the power head is just a little bit underpowered for this. So let's go up and throw the hedge trimmer on, and I've got, well, it's a ranch house. It's 70 some feet long plus a 24-foot garage, and the hedges go all the way around the entire house, plus they go down the driveway and across the front of the yard. So I probably got 200 feet of hedges to trim. So let's go see how that hedge cutter works. So far the weed whacker works fine. This little blade I'm kind of impressed with. That chopped right through them 3/8 diameter saplings. But the chainsaw, I think it's a little much for this size of engine. Let's go up and grab the hedge trimmer and see what happens. Okay, I looked in the book and it says this is a 25.2 cc engine, which I'm assuming is not big enough for that chainsaw, or there's something wrong with that chainsaw. Well, let's see how it handles the hedge trimmers. These are moving a little stiff. Maybe being brand new, they need to break in a little bit or something. We'll let it run for a few minutes before we start trimming. Let's move you down here where you can see a little better. These must be different types of hedges because they grow in different rates. And this does seem to be working a little better. Maybe you just gotta let these things run and break in because they're stiff and new. I don't know. I get home tonight or tomorrow, I'll play with that chainsaw a little bit more and see if it loosens up and it starts cutting better. works pretty darn good. Once I let it run for a few minutes and limber up a little, I guess when I get home tonight I'll try that with the chainsaw and see if that's the issue or if it is just too underpowered engine to make it work right. The only thing I really like about this is I can reach all the way across. This is probably, I'd say 5 feet of almost 6 feet across, and when I use my father-in-law's Husqvarna hedge trimmer, I have to go on both sides because there's no way I can reach across this. The blade's only about 2 foot, and then the engine and handle adds maybe 8 inches to the length, so there's no way you can get all the way across this. But hey, for the hedge trimmer, it seemed to work out pretty nice. Now just remember to swap these 2 handle screws around and you'll be able to fold this thing up the way it should fold up and store better. So if I find out any improvements with the chainsaw, I'll be back. Otherwise, this is it on this review. And again, this is a Badger 4-in-1 kit. I'm sure once I post this video, they'll send me a link to put in my description. Right now they're selling at Amazon for $199. That's with a 1-year warranty. If I give this away, you get no warranty because you're the second owner. And to try and ship this thing, because of the size of the box and its weight, I'm probably looking at close to $100 to ship this thing. So for this, I'm gonna find a church or a school that could use it and give it to them where I don't have to pay any shipping. But keep watching. I have a whole bunch more stuff to do reviews on. In fact, I had another endoscope come in this week with a 50-foot cord on the camera. 2 cameras, front and side facing, with a 50-foot semi-rigid cable. And they were good enough, because I told them, I said, okay, I don't send this stuff back, I give it away. They said, tell you what, we'll send you 2 of them. So once you have your video and you get a winner, send us his name and address and we'll ship him his endoscope and you won't have to pay any shipping. Now, you can't beat that with a stick. Okay, I'm back. I did notice that the hedge trimmer and the chainsaw had some issues working or getting going. I'm thinking that they're just stiff and they got to wear in a little bit. I'm checking the engine. This is a 25.4 cc engine. I want to check the compression to make sure that these rings are seated and it's getting the full horsepower. Well, let me bring you over here. See if you can read that. 125 pounds. I would say the rings are probably seated pretty good. You get 125 pounds of compression. So, is it the attachments? The hedge trimmers had a little bit of trouble when I first started using them, but after about a minute or 2, they seemed to loosen up. It did a great job trimming the hedge. The chainsaw, that was the only time I tried to use it, and I don't know if that's stiff or if the engine just isn't big enough. I guess that'd be your decision. But some of my videos run a little long, but I try to do an informative video to help you make a decision on whether to buy a product that I'm reviewing. For the most part, for $199, that's not a bad deal. My combi system that's sitting over there on the floor, I have a power head like this. I have two hedge trimmers, a 12-inch and a 24-inch, because I don't use a weed whacker. I don't like them. They throw stuff all over you. I use my 12-inch to trim around everything. I have a chainsaw. I have a power squeegee, and all that, and a leaf blower. All that stuff works remarkable. But that was a $460 power head. It wasn't just the power head. It's the biggest one they sell. It's 36.6 cc, I believe. And the attachments, the only cheap attachment that came with that was a string trimmer. They were giving you that for 20 bucks if you bought the power head. I figured, heck, 20 bucks, I might use it for something. The rest of the attachments, I don't think any of them was under $200. The extension I bought to put between the chainsaw and the power head, that was $149. So it depends. Do you want to spend that much money for something you're not going to use all the time? I think I'd give it a try for the $199. So until next time, work safe, have fun, and I'll talk to you soon. So long.